Hello, GH fans, grab your snacks, lock your doors, and maybe hide your favorite Cassadine heirloom in the attic, because Port Charles is officially in that everyone's lying and the walls are closing in phase. We've got Laura Collins being cornered by Sidwell like it's a hostage negotiation in designer clothing, Carly Spencer playing house with a fugitive in her own home, and Brennan running his little spy games like he's the only man in town who owns a chessboard. And the timing? Brutal. Because while the living are busy scheming, the whole fanbase is also processing heartbreaking news about Anthony Geary, our Luke Spencer, being gone. One of the biggest legends this show ever produced. And you just know the ripple effect is going to hit Laura in a way that hurts to watch, even if Luke has already been gone on canvas. This is one of those moments where the soap world and the real world collide, and it leaves a lump in your throat. Meanwhile, we've got a ticking time bomb called Who Shot Drew Cain, and it's about to detonate in court. Drew's getting ready to sit up there on that stand with a confident little smirk like he's about to end somebody's whole life, socially, legally, romantically pick a lane, congressman. And if you think that testimony won't blow back on Willow, Michael, Curtis, and basically anyone who's ever breathed the same air as Drew, please. This is Port Charles. Innocent bystanders don't exist. Oh, and just when you think the hospital drama can't get messier, Brad Cooper is slithering back into town, smiling like he's delivering flowers when he's really delivering blackmail. Portia's already hanging on by a thread with her pregnancy stress and secrets, and now Brad's at her door like, knock, knock, because apparently peace is illegal in this city. So the question is, who breaks first? Laura? Carly? Drew? Portia? Or is the real twist that Brennan's little fake lawyer hunt is about to lead straight into Carly's living room like a nightmare Christmas carol? Let's start at the Metro Court Gardens, where Laura Collins, mayor, icon, survivor, and apparently the only person in town still trying to operate with a shred of conscience, reluctantly sits down with Jen Sidwell. And Sidwell doesn't do polite conversation. He does leverage. He does threats wrapped in business language. He wants Laura to endorse his deal for Sunny Corinthos Piers and take credit for brokering it, like she's supposed to smile for the cameras while he holds her family over a pit. Now here's what makes this extra nasty. Kevin Collins shows up and admits he knows all about the blackmail. So Sidwell isn't just squeezing Laura, he's testing the perimeter of her support system. Kevin tries to be the voice of reason, suggesting Laura could call Sidwell's bluff, and then he goes even further. He basically offers to stand beside his wife if she chooses to turn herself in, to face whatever consequences might come with Sidwell's trap. And Sidwell's response? Ice cold. He makes it very clear he needs Sunny and Laura, but he doesn't need Kevin. Which is Sidwell speak for, I can remove Kevin like a chess piece, and it won't cost me anything. Laura hears that loud and clear, and the fear shifts. It's not just about her reputation or her job anymore, it's about Kevin's life. So she privately warns her husband to stop poking the bear. And that is gut-wrenching, because Laura is the kind of character who has stared down villains for decades, but this isn't Helena with dramatic music and poisonous tea. This is a modern threat, quiet, strategic, and aimed at the people she loves. Now cut to Brennan's office, where we're back in Spyland. Brennan is filling Josslyn Jacks in on this lawyer who visited Valentin Cassadine at Steinmauer, someone supposedly named Barbara Saunders. And Brennan is acting like this is the key that unlocks everything, because Barbara wore glasses with infrared blocking technology, meaning she can't be identified the usual way. Joss is listening, processing, and Brennan, being Brennan, wants her to do the legwork. He's basically handing her a mission, figure out who Barbara Saunders really is, because that person can lead them straight to Valentin. And GH fans, we know exactly who it is. It's Carly Spencer. Carly, who has never met a bad idea she didn't want to adopt and raise, posed as Barbara with help from Spinelli. And now Brennan is recruiting Joss to unknowingly investigate her own mother. Which is either diabolically clever or wildly stupid depending on how you think this ends. Joss mentions she's going to Carly's place soon, and Brennan immediately perks up like, perfect. I want a full report. And Joss pushes back, thank you, Joss, saying she'll update him on Carly's safety, and that's it. Because her mom is entitled to privacy. But the way Brennan thinks? Privacy is just a word people use before they get manipulated. Then Brennan pivots and calls Britt in, yes, Britt Westbourne, and he demands the data she was given for her work at the Five Poppies resort. And he doesn't ask nicely. He threatens her with Sidwell, saying he'll expose her as someone who's been working with the WSB all along if she doesn't comply. Britt, to her credit, doesn't fold like a lawn chair. She wants something in return, her medical license reinstated. And that request isn't just career ambition. That's identity. Britt's been knocked down, rebuilt, knocked down again. Britt becoming Britt again isn't a small thing. So now we've got a trade brewing, but with Brennan, every deal comes with hidden strings. Always. Meanwhile, over at Carly's house, we have the most chaotic domestic arrangement imaginable, Carly staying home because she refuses to leave Valentin alone in her house. And the bickering is immediate, because of course it is. Valentin is in the kitchen making breakfast like he's a casual guest, and Carly's probably thinking, I can't believe I'm risking everything because I have a soft spot the size of a Christmas tree. Valentin eventually heads back up to the attic, yes, the attic, like this is a gothic novel, and then Josslyn shows up, cheerful and festive, trying to make pre-Christmas plans with Carly and little Donna Corinthos. And Carly, being Carly, assumes Joss is there because she's worried about Valentin escaping. Joss downplays it. But there's tension under that conversation, because Carly is hiding a huge secret, and Joss is standing there unknowingly close to it. Every sentence is like a little mine in the ground. Carly ends up steering the holiday plans away from her house. She convinces Joss that Donna should decorate Joss' apartment instead. And on the surface, it's cute. On the inside, it's Carly trying to control the risk. Because Carly knows one wrong move and Joss could walk into the wrong room at the wrong time and see something she can't unsee. After Joss leaves, Valentin comes back down and starts talking strategy. He's not hiding in Carly's attic just to eat toast and brood. He has a plan for Brennan. And that plan involves the tech being developed from Caesar Faison's project, because of course the ghost of Faison can't just stay dead and buried. His legacy is basically a virus in Port Charles. Valentin's goal is deliciously petty and dangerously smart, expose Brennan's involvement so Brennan gets nailed for treason and ends up in prison. Valentin believes Brennan will get tangled up in this mess, and when he does, Valentin wants to be waiting with the trap already set. Now, at GH, the hospital, not the show title, Emma Scorpio Drake has a tense interaction with Britt, and then she turns to Felicia Scorpio for advice. Emma wants to help Dante and Gio patch things up, because she believes that could help Rocco too. Felicia admits something big: when James West nearly drowned, that crisis brought Mac and Cody together. So Emma realizes Dante and Gio might need something that forces them onto the same side. And that's a very soap-wide truth: sometimes people don't reconcile because they want to, they reconcile because a crisis leaves them no choice. Over at the Quartermain mansion, Tracy Quartermain returns from vacation and immediately gets hit with family chaos. Brooklyn greets her, then Ned shows up and realizes it's confession time. Tracy finds out Ned had a heart attack while she was gone, and she explodes. Because Tracy may be tough, but she does not do being left out. Not by family. Not by anyone. But after the rage, her fear slips through. Tracy ultimately gives Ned strict orders not to die before her. And it's darkly funny, but it's also oddly tender, because that's Tracy. Love, delivered like a threat. Gio shows up with healthy groceries, which triggers everyone fussing over Ned like he's made of glass. Tracy orders Gio to go take a nap, because apparently Tracy runs the Quartermain household like it's a military base with better curtains. Then Emma arrives, trying to convince Gio that making peace with Dante is the best way to help Rocco. Because Rocco's in trouble, and the tension between Dante and Gio is poisoning the family heir. At Lulu Spencer's place, Rocco is adamant he does not want Dante taking him to court. Lulu decides she'll go with Rocco instead while Dante stays behind to watch Charlotte Cassadine. And that alone screams conflict, because Lulu's protective instincts are fierce, and Dante's already stretched thin. Then we get a heavy, quiet moment, Charlotte alone with Danny Morgan, admitting Valentin has been in touch through their Rocco system. Charlotte knows Valentin might want her out of Port Charles soon, but she's not sure she wants that. And that's huge. Because Charlotte is caught between loyalty and longing. She loves her father. But she also wants stability, friends, home, a life that isn't constantly uprooted by Cassadine drama. Dante gets a nudge from Nathan West, yes, Nathan, toward finding a way to fix things with Rocco. And Dante needs it, because the guilt is eating him alive. He's trying to parent, protect, and police all at once, and nobody can do that without breaking. Across town, Sonny meets with ADA Justine Turner. They bicker, because Sonny can't meet a legal authority without sparks flying, and there's also that ugly cloud hanging over everything, the disappearance of Professor Henry Hank Dalton. Justine clearly thinks Sonny's involved. Sonny clearly thinks she's reaching. And then Rick Lansing waltzes in like a legal gremlin with perfect timing, reminding Justine that prosecuting kids isn't exactly a career highlight. After an off-screen judge meeting, the decision lands in Justine's lap, a plea deal. Rocco can take 30 days behind bars or 500 hours of community service. Rocco apologizes, owns the lab break-in, and it's sincere enough that Justine goes with community service. Relief with a warning label. Because Rocco has to stay out of trouble, and you just know trouble in this town doesn't need an invitation. Now, moving into Tuesday's fallout, Nina Reeves heads to Brennan's office to collect a favor. Nina previously helped Lulu let Charlotte see Valentin, and Brennan promised WSB help in exchange. Brennan even implied Nina and Willow might need it later. Well, guess what? Later is now. Nina's desperate to help Willow, and Brennan smells desperation like cologne. He's going to use it. He'll strike a deal, but it won't be charity. If Nina wants help, Brennan will demand something that benefits him. And the question is, what can Nina give him that doesn't cost her soul? At the same time, Drew Cain is making a furious vow to Willow. He insists they're going to win. But Willow isn't so sure because evidence is mounting, and that traffic cam piece already shifted the heat back onto her. Drew might be confident, but confidence doesn't erase consequences. And then Joss sits down with Michael Corinthos and asks the kind of question that changes the temperature in a room. Would Michael and Willow still be together if Drew hadn't inserted himself into their marriage like a wrecking ball in a suit? That question? That's not casual curiosity. That's a spark. And apparently, someone nearby is going to overhear something juicy, an eavesdropper hitting the jackpot, so whatever gets said is about to travel through Port Charles faster than gossip at the Metro Court bar. Let's talk motives, because everybody in this story is running on something: fear, pride, love, revenge, ego, and in some cases, pure chaos. Start with Laura. Laura's motive is simple: protect her family and protect her city. But her weakness is also her strength: she cares too much. Sidwell is exploiting that. He's not just blackmailing her, he's forcing her to choose between her integrity and Kevin's safety. And Laura knows something fans sometimes forget: villains like Sidwell don't have to win publicly. They only have to win privately, by making you live with a choice you hate. Kevin's motive is to be her partner, not her spectator. He wants Laura to fight. He wants her to call the bluff. But Kevin is also underestimating just how far Sidwell will go. And Laura sees it. That moment where she warns Kevin not to get on Sidwell's bad side? That's a wife protecting her husband from his own courage. Now Brennan. Brennan's motive is power, information power, operational power, control. He's not just hunting Valentin because it's his job. He's hunting Valentin because Valentin represents a threat to his empire of secrets. And Brennan using Joss as a tool is classic spy master behavior. He knows Joss has access to Carly. He knows Joss will notice things other people won't. And he's counting on her loyalty being predictable. But Joss isn't predictable. She's got backbone. She's got boundaries. She's also got a heart, and that heart is about to be tested when she's forced to suspect her own mother might be hiding something. Carly's motive? Honestly, it's a messy cocktail: love for family, guilt, stubbornness, and that little Carly voice that says, "I don't take orders from the universe." She's keeping Valentin hidden because she believes she can control the fallout. And Carly has always believed that control the narrative, control the room, control the crisis. But hiding Valentin in her house is a gamble that could burn down every relationship she has if it comes out. Valentin's motive is survival and revenge. He doesn't want to just escape Brennan, he wants to destroy Brennan. And using the remnants of FanZone's tech is the most Cassadine move possible. It's not enough to win. He wants to win elegantly, with a chess move that leaves his enemy exposed and disgraced. And fans, remember, Valentin is charming, yes. But he's also capable of cold calculation. When he says Brennan will get tangled up and he'll be ready, that's not hope. That's a promise. Brit's motive is redemption. Her medical license matters because it's proof she's more than her scandals, more than her mistakes, more than what people whisper. Brennan threatening to expose her as WSB connected is an identity threat. Brit has fought so hard to be seen as a doctor again, not just a troubled legacy character. So she's bargaining from a place of deep emotional need, not just career ambition. Nina's motive is guilt and love. Nina has a complicated history with Willow, so much pain, so many fractures, but Nina still wants to save her. And Nina also wants to protect Charlotte, to fix what she can fix. Brennan is going to manipulate that. He's going to take Nina's mother bear desperation and turn it into leverage. Because that's what Brennan does. He doesn't break people by force, he breaks them by letting them choose the trap. Now Drew. Drew's motive is ego wrapped in righteousness. He wants to win. He wants to crush his enemies. He wants to come out of this looking like the wronged hero. And the scary part is, he might actually believe his own speech. That furious vow to Willow? It sounds romantic on paper, but it also sounds like control. Like, you stay with me, you trust me, I'll handle it. That's comforting until it isn't. Willow's motive is survival and remorse. She's watching evidence pile up, and she's not sure Drew can bulldoze his way out of it. Willow's face in these moments matters, because she's not playing some glamorous villain game, she's drowning, and she doesn't know who will pull her out or push her under. Michael's motive is protection of himself, of his kids, of whatever truth he's hiding about the night Drew was shot. And if Michael was anywhere near Drew's house, even if he didn't pull the trigger, that means he knows something. And in Port Charles, knowing something is almost as dangerous as doing something. And then there's Portia, because we have to talk about Portia. Portia's motive is panic management. She's juggling a high-risk pregnancy, a paternity mess, Curtis or Isaiah, and the lingering fear of exposure about Heather Weber's medical records. Portia has been living with a secret that could destroy her career and her family. Trina and Kai destroyed the evidence, but secrets don't die in Port Charles, they just change hands. Which brings us to Brad Cooper. Brad's motive is Brad. Survival, money, revenge, entertainment. He's the kind of character who smiles while he sharpens the knife. And if he's back, it's because he smells opportunity. Maybe he wants Brit. Maybe he needs cash. Maybe he wants to stir chaos because chaos is his comfort zone. But whatever his reason, Portia is about to feel the walls close in. Now let's get into the juicy what happens next zone, because fans, the pieces are sliding into place, and it feels like one big week where everything could pop at once. First, Brennan's Barbara Saunders hunt. If Joss starts sniffing around Carly's house, asking questions, noticing weird scheduling, sensing Carly's nervous energy, this could spiral fast. Joss is smart. She might notice Carly redirecting holiday plans. She might notice Carly's weird vibe about being home. And if Joss gets curious and starts connecting dots? Carly could be one misstep away from her daughter realizing, wait, are you hiding Valentin Cassadine upstairs like he's a forgotten Christmas decoration? And if Brennan gets even a hint that Carly was Barbara, he won't just confront her. He'll use it. Because Brennan is the type to weaponize the truth. He could hold it over Carly. He could use it to force Sonny's hand. He could trade it to Sidwell. Or, most dangerous, he could use it to flush Valentin out in the most public way possible. Second, Nina and Brennan striking a deal. Here's where it gets scary. Brennan's not going to help Willow for free. He might demand access to someone, to something, to information Nina has through deception or Crimson or her social network. He might want Nina to plant something, leak something, misdirect someone. And Nina, under pressure, might agree and then realize too late she's basically handed Brennan a key to another locked door in Port Charles. Third, Drew's testimony. This is the big one. Drew on the stand being asked, "Do you know who shot you?" and then looking confident. That screams bombshell. But the bombshell could be real or it could be Drew being Drew, performing certainty to sway the room. It's very possible something triggers Drew's memory right before he testifies. A comment, a face in the courtroom, a word that snaps the night back into focus. And if he suddenly remembers, who does he target? Fan suspect Drew would love to pin it on Curtis Ashford, especially if Drew remembers that Curtis and Selena Wu had a dangerous conversation about getting rid of him. But that request was allegedly withdrawn, and in soap logic, the person who talked about murder is often a red herring until they aren't. Then there's Michael. The cell coverage putting Michael near Drew's house that night is the kind of detail that refuses to go away. Michael may not be the shooter, but he might know who is. He might be covering for someone unexpected. And yes, fans have even floated the idea of Scout being involved somehow, which would be horrifying and tragic and exactly the kind of twist soaps love to drop when they want maximum heartbreak. And what about Willow? Drew has insisted Willow didn't shoot him, but what if he remembers something that changes that? Would Drew still protect her? Or would he flip on her to save himself? That's the question. Because Drew's loyalty has always had conditions, spoken or unspoken. Fourth, Brad Cooper's return. Brad popping up at Portia's hospital door is not a casual cameo. That's an omen. If Brad still has knowledge, or if he's found a new piece of evidence, or if Selena Wu has looped him into something, Portia could be in serious trouble. Brad could threaten to expose the Heather record scandal all over again. And if Portia is already emotionally fragile from the miscarriage scare and pregnancy stress, Brad's pressure could push her into a desperate move. And desperate moves lead to big mistakes. Also, we can't ignore the emotional shadow hanging over the show with the news about Anthony Geary. Even though Luke Spencer is already gone on canvas, the presence of Luke is woven into Laura's DNA. A tribute episode could stir up old memories, old pain, old resilience. And that could influence Laura's choices right when she's facing Sidwell. Grief can make you fold or it can make you fearless. And Laura has a history of turning pain into steel. Finally, Rocco's community service and Dante's family tension. Rocco's ultimatum to Dante suggests the father-son relationship is at a breaking point. Dante trying to make amends with Gio might be his only route back to Rocco. But what if the unifying event Felicia hinted at isn't emotional, it's dangerous? What if Rocco's community service puts him in the wrong place at the wrong time? What if Charlotte's connection to Valentin becomes an issue? What if Sidwell's reach touches the kids? Because in Port Charles, the next crisis always finds the most vulnerable. So here we are, GH fans, Laura's being squeezed by Sidwell with Kevin's safety on the line, Carly's one wrong step away from Joss discovering a Cassadine fugitive hiding under her roof, Brennan's turning favors into shackles, and Drew is marching into court like he's about to name names and light the whole town on fire. And then Brad Cooper strolls back in with that grin that says, "I'm not here to heal old wounds, I'm here to rip them open." Portia's secrets are already cracking under pressure, and if Brad has even one solid card to play, she could be in the fight of her life, professionally, personally, and maybe even legally. But the real cliffhanger is this: when Drew takes that stand and claims he knows who shot him, is he telling the truth? Or is he about to accuse the person he wants to be guilty? And if Michael's hiding something about that night, will Josh's simple question, one honest, human question, be the spark that exposes everything? And on top of all of it, the loss of Anthony Geary hangs over the GH universe like a quiet storm, reminding us how deep these characters run, how long these stories have lived in our hearts, and how hard it hits when a legend is gone. So tell me, GH fans, who do you think Drew is about to name in court? Do you think Joss is going to figure out Carly's Barbara secret? And is Brad back for Brit, or back to drag Portia straight into the mud? Drop your theories below, because the next twist could hit fast, and something tells me Port Charles is not letting anybody have a peaceful Christmas this year.